Hello everyone. Welcome to this guide video. Today we're going to be walking you through the process of creating a GitHub account and connecting to the Platform Explorer's repository. Now, the purpose of this is for you to be able to access the use cases that have been created by your coaches, and you're able to then connect to those use cases which have been placed in the Platform Explorer's repositories. And then going forward, you get to create your own repositories in GitHub. And, based on the work you're carrying out as assigned in the use case. Now, this helps because you can easily document your progress, you can easily document the work you're doing, and then you now have your GitHub platform, which acts like that platform that helps to showcase your work as a technical professional. And you can always reference this in your LinkedIn profile. You can always reference this in your CV to have recruiters review as required. Now, to proceed, I would first of all walk us through how you can actually create a GitHub account if you do not have one, or how you would even get started, and then would also walk you through um, how you can then connect to the Platform Explorer's repository, access the use cases by your coaches, and then take the necessary steps going forward. So now I'm going to share my screen. The first thing we want to do is you want to carry out a search for GitHub, right? And or you just go to github.com. Now, when you go to github.com, if you already have an account, you can log in with your username and your password. And if you do not have an account, you can click create an account. Now, at this point, you have to put in your email address, your password, the password you want to create, and then also the username you would like to go by, right, on the GitHub platform. It's really straightforward. Once you hit continue, the platform is going to walk you through, some verifications that need to be done for security reasons. And once you're done, it then brings you to the GitHub homepage. Now, your homepage will look something like this. Once you're on the GitHub homepage, all you need to do is you hit the search bar, and then you type Platform Explorers. Now, there will be no spaces in between, and you hit search. Now, once you do this, it gives you the search results. You can see from the filter by the left, it's showing me some of the repositories it found going by the similar name. What I'm looking for is users, so I hit users, and then you can see Platform Explorers over here. So now I select Platform Explorers. Now, this is the Platform Explorers account. You can then review the repositories that we have in here. As this is the first cohort, you would be going to cohort 1. Now, when we hit that, you can see we have the repositories, the folders for the various tracks. So we have for cybersecurity, cloud computing, dynamics and power platform, Microsoft 365 administration, and product management. We also have, there's the README information, which introduces you to, like, guides you on what to expect as you go through the use cases, right? So what use cases are about, just a brief explanation. And then coming down, you can see the getting started area. So over here, it actually guides you on how you can find project tracks and then use cases, and also how you can, connect or fork the repository that has all of the use cases that you need to work on. Now, to get started, what we need you to do is you need to actually fork your own copy of this repository, right? You need to fork your own copy of this repository. What this does is that it actually creates a copy of this repository in your own account, and going forward, you can then reference your work. You can then document your configurations against the tasks as required. So now, to do this, you just need to click on the option you see there, and then it asks you to create a new fork. Now, like it says, a fork is a copy of a repository. Now, this allows you to freely experiment with changes without affecting the original project. So now you can give your repository a name. It would give you some suggestions, and then you can always, edit this as required. I would leave it as it is. And then we have a description here. So we go ahead and hit create. And then you said, as you see here, it says you're creating a fork in your personal account. Like it says, it's just creating a copy in your personal account. And then you can go ahead to edit going forward without making changes, to the original project. So you hit create. Now, once this is done, you now have, as you can see over here, you now have your own version of the repository that you saw earlier. Now, from here, you can also, to see all of your repositories, you can come over to your repositories and you get to see that, you have that, the repository that was actually forked from the original project. So if you hit the platform explorers, you see all the folders as you saw earlier, going forward. Now, what you can do is you can create, in here, you can actually create, new files. You can create a new file against a certain project or against a certain use case. In this case, I would select cybersecurity, and then in here, I can actually go ahead to add a new file or to create a new file in here. Now, when I hit create file, I can name my file, right? And let's say, um, configurations, oh, configurations, use case 1.md. Now you always need to end your file name with the .md. This will allow your file to be readable in a readable format, really. So, and in here you can then put in the content of your configurations. If you have an image you want to include, you just drag and drop from your file explorer, and you're able to basically document all the steps that you're carrying out in your environment. And once you're done, you hit commit changes, and then this then saves the changes to the file. You can always look at the use cases to get an understanding of how the documentation is done. For example, we have this particular use case one, right? We have the overview here, and you can see it's in preview mode. Now, if I hit code, you get to see how you actually get to see how the code was put together, how the text was put together to appear the way it is now. Now you can always edit this, because yet again, this is now a copy of the original project, so you can actually play around with it. So once I hit edit, you can see that, to sort of have the heading of the entire documentation, I have the hash sign here. And to have a subheading, I have double hash, and so on and so forth. So you can follow this similar format and take, for example, this is actually my configuration steps. Once I'm done, once I've gotten all of this here, if I wanted to add an image to this, I would only need to, open my file explorer. I would select a particular picture, and then I can easily, bring that into for example, I could select this screenshot, and then I just drag and drop it into this area. Now I've dragged and dropped this, and if I hit preview and scroll down, you can see I now have that image in here. So this is how easy it is, really, for you to create your documentation, to create your, configuration documents. Best practice, like we said earlier, the use cases are here I would cancel changes, because I'm not trying to edit the use case. I'm just trying to show you how, how formatting within GitHub works. Now, the use cases are here to act as a guide for you. you can review them. And then actually best practice is we advise you to actually create your own repositories. So if you come back to your home profile, you can then hit the plus icon and then select new repository. Now you can name this project tasks, because, and the reason we are saying this is, yet again, you can always then give access to this repo to recruiters. You can have this on your LinkedIn page, you can have this on your CVs, and individuals can come in here to see the work that you're doing. Now I can name this project tasks. Do I want this to be public or private? I can choose that here. Do I want to add a readme file? Now the readme file is literally where you can write a long description for your project, and so on and so forth. And if I wanted to add a license, so a license telling people what they can and cannot do with my code. So once I select all of this, I'm happy with this configurations. I can just add the README file here. Once I'm done with all of this, I click on create repository. Now I have my repository, and then I can easily now select create a new file. And then when I do that, I can now start to put in, my configuration details in here. So it's really straightforward. If you have any questions as you proceed, you can always reach out to us, and we are always happy to help. If you wanted to delete a directory, maybe you make some mistakes, you can always do that from here. Yet again, if you have any questions as you proceed, kindly let us know, and we're happy to assist. We're happy to, advise as required. Also, yet again, do not forget to create a copy of the original use case and then use that as a reference for your documentation, right? But do not create your configuration document in the use case folders. Actually create your own repository like we just saw earlier. Create your own repository and document all of your tasks and configurations based on the use cases going forward. Yeah, thank you.